Welcome back, everybody. So by request, I've gotten someone who wants to see specifically the glass going in and out, and it's funny because I thought I had that content on another video, and it got edited out because it was just too long, and so I can see the value in getting that. So here we are. 68 Chevelle. It's an A body, so this configuration will show up in a lot of different 68 GM cars, but here's taking out the main glass when you have a vent window. All of the sheet metal in the door has got holes, all for really good reasons. And the ones you're interested in are going to be this guy, the one below it, and this guy, and the one below it. And right now I have the glass and the regulator adjusted so that the bolts that hold the up stops are exposed. So right there, that's the up stop for the back rail. And that is the up stop for the front part of the glass, and it's a little L bracket, which I'll show in a second. It comes up and out, and it hits the sheet metal and keeps the glass from overextending at the top. So once you've got all your seals in and your door felts on, you can adjust everything. Highly recommend that you get comfortable with it, because when you put your door felts on the outside of the door, and then obviously you have to make your adjustments at that point before you put the door card on, because the door card is what has the interior felt. But kind of allowing for all that's going to allow you to get the glass adjustment. And the travel of the glass up and down is done by the stops, and certainly the regulator, the handle. But the way the rear rail travels is on these two and this one. And those three together allow you a fair amount of angle for getting the rail to have the rear end of the glass travel where you want it to. The other adjustment that's absolutely worth talking about right now, since I got you, is this. And that changes the way the glass arcs in the rear part of the travel. In a previous video with the adjustments of the windows, I covered how the vent window covers the arc of the front part of the glass, but that other inside adjustment is how you handle the back part. Anyway, okay, on to taking the glass out. So we've got the regulator adjusted for the two stops, and we're going to take those, and then we're going to lower the glass down a little bit and take the Phillips head screw out of the... Now this one is a piece of sheet metal that is living in the slot, and so I'm taking the nut off, or the bolt off, and it's staying in there, and when we pull the glass out, the roller will just push it out of the way. This one you loosen, but don't take the bolt out all the way, because if you do, it just causes everything to drop and you don't need it to. And then this little L bracket comes out the top, and that's the stop there. So now if we had the glass loose from the regulator, we could just pull it out, except we need these three loose, not out, but loose. And one of these things is, it's handy. I've just done this recently, so I kind of remember what the visual is, but it's handy if you were to spray it with a witness mark of spray paint in a contrasting color, or just go with a Sharpie around there, so that if you're happy with the existing adjustment on an existing car and you're putting back together, do that. If you're like this, where it's a whole new rebuild and all new felts, then you can adjust it, you know, as needed. But I don't need to mark them, because I kind of know where they need to go for now. And again, these are not coming out. They are just getting loose so that that rail can travel towards the rear of the car once the glass is loose. And what it does is allows the glass to fall out of the front channel on the vent window rail. Okay, so now we're going to come up a little bit, because we need access to the Phillips head screw. Oh no, we're going to go down. And there we go. So here is the back one. And if we're slick, we don't drop it into the bottom of the door. And that happens about some of the time. And here we go, magnet, and did not drop the screw. That's a win. It's the little things. And then on the front, same thing. Find the Phillips. It's in there somewhere. Okay. There she is. There we go. Now, if I'm not careful, the whole glass could drop, but I'm fairly confident I've got it stuck in the sheet metal pretty well, so I don't think it's going to. And, okay, screw is loose in the hole. Magnet sticking to everything. Nope, I forgot to. Little flashlight right now would have been handy, but huh. Well, that was smooth up until then. There we go. Okay, so now I'm in danger of dropping the glass if I take the screw out too sloppily. So I may just let the screw drop to the bottom of the door if I have to. Okay, I think it's loose. All right, now we've got the rear rail loose with the three. We've got the stops out, and now the glass just comes up. Oh, there's that screw, it just dropped. And now we just bring the glass out of the front rail and disengage that from the sheet metal. There we go. Down a little bit. Uh-oh. What happened? Ah, yeah, the rail needs to slide out of the way. Okay, this rail can obstruct. So once you're free from the bracket on the glass, you need to slide the rail back a little bit. And it comes down with the stop. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's funny. It's fine. There you go. Okay, little stop is in there. Rail's too far forward or too far back. So now I know I'm editing. There we go. Backside first, then out. Yay! Okay, again, made that look a little harder than it needed to be. And fourth time will be a charm. There's the stop that we took the bolt out for, but left the stop in the way. And it didn't actually hang us up. What hung us up was the rear rail fell so far back that it was blocking on the sheet metal of the door. And first, this guy has to be just right. All right, so let's assume you've got glass going back in, and again your rail's loose, your stops are out. This nylon guide at the bottom of the front part of the glass goes into the slot. You catch the back wheel into that rail. You make sure the glass goes into the felt channel. And okay, so glass is in the felt channel. I'm holding it kind of up against the channel with the left hand. And what I'm going to do before I try to even support the glass is make sure that the rail is close to where I want it and it's not going to jump out of the way and cause problems later. So I'm just going to tighten up one of the bolts a little bit to keep that from falling out of place. And then I'll get busy reattaching. And again, I'm still holding the glass with my left hand, tightening this rail up just a little bit so that I can not have the arrangement fall out of the front part of the felt. I can still adjust that, but I just don't want that to fall loose. Okay, so glass is in the rail. Rail is kind of sort of, the two rails are kind of sort of aligned. Now I want to support the glass, and that's what this in here is. And that little clip will hold this rail, and then the Phillips head goes in there. So you get that over to that, and line that up ever so. And there it is. Now I'm holding it in for alignment and also holding the glass from dropping. And I'm going to bring it up, back up to that hole so that the Phillips head screw aligns just so. There we go. And everything likes to sit together in that position. Okay, so rail is a little springy right now, or rather the regulator is a little springy, but it's aligned. So I'm going to grab the screw and through magical forces of greasy screwdriver that's going to stay on there when I aim it in there, hopefully. And if it doesn't, I'll just recover it. And I still know I have the other screw sitting at the bottom of the door somewhere, so I need to recover that. But once this screw is in, it keeps the door from dropping, or sorry, it keeps the glass from dropping into the door. Okay, so that's good. Now the screw that I dropped was on the front side, so it's going to be over here somewhere. And the magnet will hopefully find it. Bingo. Yay, other screw. And nice thing I learned was that once you get this hole adjusted for alignment of putting that screw in, this other one will also be in the right spot. And sure enough, there it is. So see if you can see down inside of there, there is the rail, and then a hole right behind it. And so that will go right in there. Start that. And there we are. Okay, so glass is back in. We didn't finish tightening these down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna travel it a couple times to make sure that it's not too tight, not too loose. I know okay, so it's a little loose. So up here, you can see where the glass is falling out of the felt. And so what that is just needs a little bit of help on the angle of the rail on the bottom so that it's pushing it the right way. And then I'm going to hold the glass where I want it, loosen this back up a little bit, loosen the bottom up. Make sure that that rail, again, is pushing the glass towards the front of the car up against its felt there. I'm mostly going to do the bottom one. I remember that was a little bit of a thing. Just to get the bottom one snug first. Then operate the window, and it will kind of self-correct where it wants to be. Yep, there it did. So these just moved back a little bit because of the pressure against the felt. So they're now happy. Don't break the window. Okay, glass is back in. Let's just operate it correctly. Yep, down, up, not too tight, not too loose. Now we just have to align it for the stop to go back in, which is the little L bracket one lives up front. And I'm going to get that in the slot and then determine where I want to adjust it. I want to get it in there first. Yeah, filming and showing is hard at the same time. Because you can't put your face right where you want to see. So I'm doing this by braille. There we go. Hey, got it. Okay, so that's in there. And this back one lives in the slot on the rear rail. You just drop it in. And now we're going to put the glass where we think we want it at the top. And I remember from previous adjustments, it lived just a shade above that rubber so that there was a good contact between the seal and the door and that. And going back to the beginning of the video, that is an adjustment you make once the exterior felt is on and once all your seals are on the exterior of your door. Make that adjustment, and your door cards are one of the last things that go on. I learned that the hard way, putting the door cards on early last time and then having to pull them off a bunch of times to make adjustments. So the little L bracket stop is there. I've got the glass where I think I want it, so I'm going to tighten that, but I also need to remember to push that little L bracket right up against the bottom of this surface, because that's what it's stopping against. And then just give that a little tighten. And the back one was inside the slot, and there it is here. And that guy goes in there. Oh, you missed completely. And I think, oh, no, no, let's not drop that. And the glass is right where it is, so what I'm doing is I'm kind of pushing this one against the roller because that's the stopping point. And there we are. Ta-da. Okay, thanks for the request. Hopefully this helps. See you next time.